This is how I failed to make apple pie version 2 from The Joy of Cooking 1953. This time I used the French apple pie recipe and the Galette Dough recipe, which needed a 9-inch pie dish. So I measured my dish and ensured that I did have a 9-inch pie dish, and I did. Then I preheated the oven to 220 degrees. I started by preparing my dough with 1 cup of plain flour, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 6 tablespoons of butter, 1 egg yolk, 1 tablespoon of water, and 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. First, I mixed the dry ingredients. As the recipe says to use a pastry blender, and I don't know what that is, I decided that I would use my food mixer, first mixing the dry ingredients with the butter, and then later adding the egg yolk, the water and the lemon juice. This left me with a very soft dough, which I then chilled as directed. However, unfortunately the recipe does not specify a time, and I wonder if I was a little too hasty in taking my dough out of the fridge, as we'll see. Then, with a dash of cinnamon, a 1/4 cup of sugar and a 1/4 cup of melted butter, and an unspecified amount of apples, I started to prepare my filling. Having refrigerated my dough, I tried to roll it out as thinly as possible, as directed by the recipe, and it seemed to go quite well until I tried to put it into my pie dish, at which point, as you can see, it just ripped up straight away. It was far too soft. So I gave up, tried to put it into the pie dish and then chill it again. Unfortunately, when I chilled it again, it just carried on ripping up and being far too soft. So at this point, I decided that I would just add my filling and give it a go. Having cooked it for 15 minutes at 220 degrees and then for half an hour at 180 degrees, I removed the pie from the oven. Again, it turned out far too tart, and I'm starting to think that when Mary and Irma mention apples, they do not at any point mean what we consider to be cooking apples. I think I do need to use dessert apples.